Hello, I hope y'all are doing well. If you hear thunder, it is raining here a lot. So my internet is going crazy and the TV went crazy. So the kids are making tents, which is the usual rainy day thing to do. Every time it rains, they have to make a tent. I guess it seems protective. But that's what we do because it just seems like a fun thing to do when it rains. So they're making tents and I'm doing a video. So great, thanks. Okay, so we're going to be talking about thieves today. Now, if you have never heard the story of thieves, we're going to be talking about that as well. But thieves has become very near and dear to me because it is like one of the first aha kind of oils that we were like exposed to in the beginning and had huge, beautiful results from. My second to oldest, was 6 when he had meningitis and he almost died, but thankfully everything they were able to find, they couldn't find a medicine that was going to treat the meningitis at all. It took forever to find something that would work. Finally they found something, got it going, and it started. He had 24/7 antibiotics flowing into his body all the time. They had to finally put in a PICC line because they busted all of his veins in both of his arms, and just because they were putting so much medicine in. It was horrible. It was extremely scary, and it was just touch and go for the first several days. And then finally, when they finally came to this one medicine that was working and that did hit that particular germ, then it started working. But in the meantime, it was very scary. But due to all of the infection that he had in his brain, and as his brain was swelling, and it was like one of the worst meningitis that you could have. And so we all knew there was going to be issues. Like the worst, of course, would be death. But then we knew that there was a very good possibility that other things could happen. We had heard many stories of different things that would occur because of the meningitis, one being loss of hearing altogether. They said it's a rarity to lose hearing in one ear. You would lose it just altogether. And so that was a scary prospect for us as well. Well, through the process of the couple of weeks, they said they didn't know if it was the amount of antibiotics being thrust into their bodies or the infection itself that would cause the ear problem. Well, halfway through, one day I was sitting, Danny he had to go back to work, and I'm just sitting there reading, and all of a sudden I hear this huge pop, and Jake just starts screaming bloody murder and is holding his ear. And I called the nurses, and I'm like, his eardrum just popped. And they're like, you couldn't hear that? That's weird. And I said, nope, I heard it. Like, it was horrible. And it took me a while to get them to understand that I heard it, that it really was his eardrum, and that he could not hear. Like, oh, it'll clear up. It was just, just popping, the pressure or whatever. Hearing never came back. So he ended up losing hearing in his right ear, has hearing in his left ear. He's fine. And I'm so thankful. I mean, that was all that was wrong and all that came out of it. But the weird thing is in the end, they're like, his personality is going to change. He's going to be a lot more worried. He's going to be, his sleeping patterns will totally change. You're going to see a different child. And I'm thinking, okay, that's weird. I mean, he's 6. How can that be that hard? I mean, like, what? I don't understand. And they had psychologists that would come and talk to him while we were there, and I'm like, that's weird, because he acted fine. He acted like it was no big deal, like he didn't care. Well, fast forward to coming home and him learning to walk all over again because all of his muscles, like everything had quit. So like he had to learn to walk again, and just strange things. Well, I never realized the impact that his little body, like I knew from a perspective of like the neurological thought pattern of, you're learning to walk again. That's scary, but you should be happy that you're alive. You know, yes, you lost one ear, but you can still hear. You know, like, so we're talking through these things, and I'm like, yay, you know, we're doing great. You wonder what's in my nose? It's a little aroma ring, and it's got oil in it, so it like smells. So I'm smelling lavender. So I just happened to think I look like a bull, but anyway. But through that process, like, we came home, he did not sleep. Did not sleep at all. And he had always been my very best sleeper. He was nervous all the time, worried about everything. Like, he had always been more of a germaphobe than everybody else, but then, like, after that point, like, he became like just like, he just worried, and still has some bouts of that here and there, you know, where it's a lot more under control. But sleep was the biggest thing. And then he had this chronic cough. And I honestly feel like that he had this chronic cough from the antibiotic, because he was shoved so much for several weeks, 24/7 antibiotics pushed into his body constantly. So toxin overload at its very best. And this cough, I feel like, was fungus that had built up in his body. Now, again, I'm not a doctor. I can't say, don't know, but that was what I felt like. So it was like this continual thing. We were at the doctor all the time. Like, it was just a never ending, let's go to the doctor every couple of weeks, because that's just where we're going to end up. And it was horrible. So finally, when he was 10, he was turning 10. Wonderful, awesome friend said, I was about to take everybody to the doctor again. And she said, before you take them to the doctor, just try this. I don't know if it'll work, but let's try. I'm on word. First night, he sleeps. Everybody's like, he had been sleeping off of Benadryl for years, for several years. Not to mention all of the other antibiotics he had, but then he had the crap of the Benadryl, which is horrible on your body. So, but that's what I had. You know, didn't know any better, didn't know any different, didn't know what to do. Like, I thought that was what I needed to do. That was what the doctor told me to do. So that's what we did, because I didn't know. So we did that forever. And then when he was 10, we started, my friend brought several different little bottles, but she brought these, was one of them. And she's like, rub this on his chest, and which I rubbed on everybody's chest, but you know, at that time I rubbed it on his specifically. And for a couple of weeks, after that weekend, everybody's colds, all the stuff started like subsiding a little bit. Really did help. And so then I thought, well, okay, I'm going to I used these on him. And the first couple of weeks after that weekend, everything got better. So we went ahead and bought the kit, got started, and so excited. Like, I just couldn't wait to use everything. So I'm like pouring stuff on everybody. Just, oh, you look like you might need something, so let's just pour something on you. It's just fun to play, you know, have to do it. But on him, I specifically kept using the Thieves, because I'm thinking, okay, immune system. Let's boost that immune system. Let's get it feeling good. Let's get it better. Well, it got worse. Like, he was coughing up gobs of weird stuff all the time. Like, gobs. Gobs. And I'm like, okay, we're getting worse instead of better. I thought we were supposed to be getting better. I thought this was boosting our immune system. What in the world is going on? This is horrible. Like, I was getting upset. And then finally, after 2 weeks, like, it was 2 full weeks of, and my friend kept saying, just keep on, just try it. It's pulling everything out. It's pulling it out. So I'm like, okay, we're going to keep going. So we went until finally one day, the child had nothing left. He had stopped the weird little cough. Like, it was just this constant, I mean, like, everywhere we were, all day long. And it stopped. Nothing else came up. Nothing else did anything ever. Like, we are now 6.5, almost 7 years in, and he has not had that cough again. Like, it is a rarity for him to have any kind of cough. Now, he's a Thieves fanatic. Like, he uses it several times a day. Like, he is not going to allow his body to get below on that scale whatsoever. Sorry, I heard somebody at the door. But he absolutely swears by it and loves it more than anything. So my commission to you with this story is, when you start using something and you, in your mind, you're thinking, well, this is not working. This is not working. Young living does not work. You know, I hear people say stuff like that all the time. And I'm like, just go with the process. Just be okay with the process. Go through it. Keep on. Be diligent. Be consistent. Do not quit. Do not stop. Keep going. Because your body is having to swap over from what it has been given to something totally different. You're going to see after we get through talking about some of the thieves or what the toxins and the chemicals are doing to our bodies. And all of these things are being just poured into us every day. Just like Jake having the antibiotics poured into him every day. Antibiotics is just only one evil that we have on a regular basis. That was not including the body wash we were putting on his little body every single day. It was not going to be I'm sorry, I get distracted very easily. It was not didn't matter that we were having all of these other things that we were cleaning with just regular cleaners and wiping our counters off, you know, and then you go to cut something up on your counter that has had this regular stuff that's got tons of chemicals in it, like tons of stuff, like things all the time. And so like we can't allow ourselves to sit there and go, well, I used it one time and now it don't work. It just don't work. You can't be there. You cannot be there at all. Like you have to think, I've got to persevere. I've got to push through. I've got to be consistent. Do not stop. That is my number one thing to everybody. Do not stop. Do not give up on what you're doing, because this is for your family. This is for your four walls. This is taking care of your people. And you are the one that is responsible for that. It's all you. Especially being a mama. Like, we are responsible for what comes in to the home all the time. So let's get started. I know that was a very long story, so I'll try to keep everything else condensed, but I love that story because knowing how much all the stuff that had been in his body and realizing that all of that stuff had to come out of his body. Now, I honestly feel like they say it takes years and years for antibiotics to like finally filter through your body and to finally get out of your system. I mean, you think about all of the toxic overload that's going into our bodies every day that has having to filter through our liver. And so then therefore our liver is totally taxed, and that's not helping our body at all. So the more that we're putting stuff like that into our bodies, then we're getting these overloads, these xenoestrogen overloads. We're overloaded with toxin, everything, like just so much our body cannot take anymore. And then it causes dis-ease or disease within our body because we're not able to get rid of all of the stuff and all of the nasty things that we're putting into our bodies all the time. Our bodies can't filter like it needs to because of all the stuff that we're putting in. So we have to have a better way. There is a better way, and we have to allow ourselves to be open to something different. Sometimes, yes, it may cost a little bit more, but it's worth it. I promise you, it's worth it. But at the same time, I say it costs more, but it really don't, because actually in the end, we spent $165 on a kit that lasted a month, and normally I was going to the doctor every week at some points, and sometimes every other week. It just depended on the month. So I was spending $100 every single time I went to the doctor, so at least $200 a month, if not more, because that was just co-pays. That was not what the bill came in later. So you're going to pay for your health one time, sometime, or now or later. Either way, like you're going to go to the doctor and pay for it now because you're not doing what you need to do to take care of it, or you can begin to make changes and take care of it now. Because now we go to the doctor on our doctor visits, not every week or every other week, or unless we have a person that breaks something and we don't have a choice. I can't fix broken things. But my point is, that we have a choice to make. We make the choice. We decide. And there is nobody else that we can blame in the end but us. And if we're not going to take care of our kids and their health now, we have to answer for it because we're their parents. We're the ones taking care of them, or supposed to be. So, okay. According to the cancer.org site, 609,000 Americans will die of cancer this year. That is 1,600 deaths every single day from cancer. 1 in 3 men and 1 in 5 women by the age of 60 will have cancer. Now, 90 to 95% of those are from a hereditary aspect, but the rest of them, the other 90 to 95%, are all environmental, meaning either from obesity, which is probably because we, of course, we don't always eat everything that we need to that's good for us, but it's usually having to do with a lot of processed foods, which also have a lot of chemicals in them. Tobacco, of course, smoking, and then, of course, toxic chemicals, which are piling so many xenoestrogen chemicals into our bodies that's causing way more issues than we want to even discuss. So, as we see, that's the things we're letting into our house. We're doing those things. There's things we can help, we can change. Now, the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health studied 2,900 ingredients on products, different products that's in the home, and they found that 884 of those were toxic ingredients, had toxic ingredients in them. This includes like dish soaps, laundry soaps, cleaning supplies, candles. Candles is one of the worst things. It actually is like when you burn a candle for 2 hours during the day, that's the same as smoking a pack of cigarettes. So you're allowing your children to smoke a pack of cigarettes or more, because like if you run, if you're like me, I would run them all day because they smell yummy. So you would run it constantly. So that's like allowing your child to sit and just smoke cigarettes all day long. But we're protecting them. Like, we don't just smoke in the home. We go outside and smoke, or we just don't smoke at all, or whatever. Well, you're doing the same thing inside your house with the candles. There's 314 that caused biological mutations. And then 218 caused reproductive issues. So then we wonder why so many of our girls are not getting pregnant, or if their stuff works correctly, then their husband may be having the issue. We wonder why. Well, we've got all these toxins that we're putting on and in our bodies all the time. 146 caused cancerous tumors, but were allowed in the U.S. anyway, even though they were banned in other countries around the world. To protect your family, begin with making changes in your home and start with the biggest offenders. So like you're thinking about the candles. So let's get rid of those candles. The second biggest thing is the dryer sheets that go in the dryer, or those little balls that you put in, the Stay Fresh balls, whatever those things are called. I don't know what they're called. We have dryer balls, like big balls, and you just drop several drops of whatever you want to on them. I put lemon sometimes, lemongrass, lavender, peace and calming. I put whatever I feel like, whatever sounds good at the moment, or whatever's handy. If it's sitting there close, I grab it. Those kind of things are the top culprits, because you think about, you're putting those clothes into the wash. It's in those chemicals. It's washing in those chemicals. It's drying. The dryer sheet, the chemicals that are in the dryer sheets get into your clothes. That's why they smell so yummy. I like to smell good too. I really do. But, we have to think about those things. And you take them out of the dryer. You put them on your body. You're wearing that all day. Those chemicals are seeping into your skin. Now, you think about when you use an oil, that's seeping into your skin. Like, all you have to do is rub it on your skin. And in 10 seconds, or less than 10 minutes, it is in your bloodstream. It's everywhere in your body. So the chemicals are doing the same thing. So you really have to think about those things as you're going through your day. Just start just kind of like randomly as you're cooking supper. Look at the back of your soap bottle when you're washing your dishes. Look at the back of it and see all of the different things that are in there that you can't really pronounce. If you can't pronounce it, you're probably going to likely find out that it does not, like it's chemicals, like it's gross. So you really have to think about those things. You really got to be aware of what we're putting on in our bodies. Like, I used to not think about it. Like I said earlier, I mean, I was giving Jake Benadryl every day. Like, I thought this was normal. I thought that was perfectly fine. Children's Tylenol, whatever. Let's just pour it into his little body, lay it on top of whatever else has been there. Let's, whatever it is, let's lay it on them. I mean, the house stinks. Oh, let's light that candle up, buddy. I mean, I did not know. But when we know better, we do better. We're responsible for what we know. So we have to think about it. So when you become aware of what is going on in your home, you have to think about it and then push through it and decide to do something different. And you have to make those steps. I'm not saying you take everything away right this second and change every single thing in your house. I'm not saying that it is really, truly capable of changing everything all at one time, but start making those choices. Start with those big things like the laundry soap, the dish soap, the dishwasher stuff, whatever. And start changing those few things out. There are a lot of little tips and tricks for using your 26 seconds after exposure, once you have put the body wash on, or you've used that face wash, or you have put your clothes on, or whatever, after you've been exposed to that particular chemical, it takes 26 seconds for that to go into your bloodstream. It does not take long. Chemicals are found in measurable amounts in our bodies. There is a video, I will try to add it to the comments. I hope. I will have to find it, but hopefully I can find that. It is really eye-opening to show. They took a family, and actually took their blood, and they were able to see all the different chemicals that were in their body, and like just take a normal family eating their normal diet and all of those kind of things. Then they gave them food to eat, like good, healthy, whole foods, fruits, vegetables, that kind of thing, for an entire month, and took all of the chemicals away to see what it did to their body. And the chemical amount that was in their body came down drastically, which was really cool. And I thought that was really amazing to watch. The average woman puts 300 different chemicals on her body every single day, and about 80 of those are before breakfast, which is crazy. I never thought about that. Never thought about what I was putting on my body ever. I just used it. It smelled good, or it felt good, or it was awesome. Like, I never did think about it. It didn't matter. Didn't care. I mean, like, I was just whatever. Very indifferent. But the more I read and the more I realize, now I am not one of those that just really goes completely crazy about all of it, because we can't keep every single toxic thing out of our home or off our body or anything. I mean, like, there is a point where, like, we can be aware, but we can't be scared either. Like, I'm not just going to live in fear over everything. But when I know that there's things within my control that I can change, that can be better, I want to do those things. So if I know that I can wash my clothes in something better that's not going to be toxic, then I'm going to do that. If I know that, like, little Joshy had to have knee surgery, well, I'm not asking him to go have knee surgery without being put to sleep. I mean, like, that has to happen. Like, the poor child is not going to have surgery awake. So, I'm not saying that, and we could not have surgery because his knee was like literally sideways. But at the same time, when you're thinking through the process of doing things on a regular basis, and we're making these changes all the time, and we're keeping our bodies healthy on a regular basis, then when those weird moments come, like something like having to be put to sleep for something like knee surgery, then your body's not so overloaded at that point already that it can't handle the fact that it's going to be put to sleep. And then we can work on getting the body back to health later. So after the surgery's over, then you work on, okay, let's get those chemicals back out. What are we going to do to work on that process? So think, just thinking through processes, and not just allowing ourselves to just be thrown to and fro with everything that's the passing thing, just really thinking about what we're doing. So what happens when your body is actually chemically overloaded? Most of us feel lethargic. We can't focus. We feel sleepy. Or you may have trouble sleeping. Like you may stay awake a lot. You may have chronic inflammation, which was one of my problems at one point. Unexplained pain. What's it called? I keep wanting to say dementia, but not dementia, which, that's a whole nother thing. Oh my word. Anyway, one of those things that your body is just always in pain, and they don't really know the real, like they can't lead it back to anything. They just say, oh, you've got this because you're hurting all the time. So they just call it that. That's one of the things, because it's toxic overload is really what it is. And fibromyalgia, skin issues, adult acne, hormones, hot flashes, stress, anxiety, and fear. All of these things are from toxic overload. We have to really, really think about all of the things. And I really think that's why Jake, at the time when he had his meningitis, he was so full of all that stuff. I think that's what caused the anxiety more, and the worry was because of so much toxins in his body. And then when we started Young Living and we were coming off of all the toxins, then it allowed his body to relax. It allowed it to start cleaning those things out. And as we got rid of things that was in our home that we didn't need, changed some of our diet that was not good, doing some things that was different, then he was able to heal, and his body was actually able to heal. Not that the oils were healing him, but it was allowing his body to rest because they're not toxic. It's not adding another toxin on top of the already overloaded body. It works with your body and allows your body to do and function the way it's supposed to. It goes deep into the cells and past the blood-brain barrier and gets to where the problem is, to where it can relax everything and say, okay, we're at ease. We are going to be at ease with ourselves, with our own things in there, and it can all move and have oxygen flow and allow the inflammation to go down and allow the body to do what it's supposed to do and not be completely overloaded. You can cross some things off your list by going as close to toxic, chemical free as you can in your home. When you start crossing those things off, when you start thinking about, okay, I'm taking the stuff out of the bathroom, like start with the bathroom. Just say, okay, I'm changing out all my stuff in my bathroom. The next month, go to your kitchen. Next month, go to, I don't know, whatever you want to. Just different little areas. Go to your washroom. Go to wherever. Think about all of the stuff that is in each room of your home. What can you get rid of and what can you change out? It really does not take long. In a couple of months, you have it all changed. So what is the Seed to Seal? Young Living is totally separate from any other oil company that's out there. Seed to Seal actually is basically proof to say that there is nothing in their bottles at all except for that one particular oil it says that's in there. Like, you can read the ingredients and all it is that particular oil. So like lemon is just lemon. It is the rind and the liquid out of the lemon in a bottle. Grapefruit is just grapefruit. Peppermint is just the extracted oil out of the plant put in a bottle. Like, it's just that simple. There's no water, there's no alcohol, there's nothing added to it. So peppermint, lemon, cedarwood, all the herbs, every kind of herb you could think of, all of those things you can ingest because they are completely pure without anything added to them. From the seed, like from the moment that's gone into the ground, they're extremely well taken care of seeds. They're not toxic seeds. They've not had anything on them. The ground is completely like 50 years worth of being organic ground, and all the way to the bottom. Like there is no toxic anything in anything that they do. Everything's completely pure. You can go and watch them go through the process. You can actually go to the farms and help in the process of planting and harvesting and see how it really is working and how it really does go. Like putting the irrigation, all the watering of all of the stuff, like it is so amazing that they take the water that is pulled, like, you know how oil and water separate. So they pull the oil off, it goes into the bottle. The water actually goes into a tank, and that's what is the irrigation that goes across the plants and all that stuff. So they spend a lot of time, a lot of money on irrigating and doing all of the stuff for the farms. Like tons of money. Like everybody wants to like act and you know, I hear these little negative people saying, oh, they just want to make lots of money and all this stuff. No, they really want the purest thing that they can give to anybody. So it's going to cost money to keep doing the things that they're doing. I mean, everything. Like, everything's green. Like, no more paper being used. No more, like, when you go to the facility, like, everything's clean. Everything's pure. Everything is done as green and organically as you can possibly do it. Like, COVID can't live there. I don't think. It would be kind of funny for it too. It's really funny. But that is what makes it so great. We spend $12,000 per acre to hand weed lavender instead of using the standard little process. Most farms use the way that they come through and process all of the different plants and everything. They only spend $60 per acre. So you can tell there is a big difference between how we're doing our farms and how other people do their farms. Now, Thieves there's tons of different Thieves products. Like they're all completely pure, but you can use anything and still get the same benefit. The toothpaste, mouthwash, clothes detergent, dish soap, hand soap, the cleaner, the household cleaner, like that is my most favorite. Like, love it. I love it, love it, love it. That one cleaner, now, over the last couple of months, we got new baby puppies. So, like, we've been having to clean up a lot after them, so we've used a lot more Thieves than we normally would. Typically, I only have to buy one bottle every 3 or 4 months. We've got 8 people in our house. So that is a huge savings to me. $22, and I clean everything. My bathrooms, my windows, my mirrors, the door handles. I mean, like, everything gets cleaned. Everything. I mop with it. We don't use anything else. Like, it is the most amazing thing ever. So if you don't try anything else, try the cleaner. Start there and throw away all your cleaners, all your Windex, all the things, because it really is very well worth it altogether. So, in wrapping up, I would love for you to make that decision to grab a Thieves kit. Just get started there. See what it's like. See how you like it. It's got mouthwash. I'll put a little graphic in here. You'll see all the things that's in it. Mouthwash, hand soap, all the things. There's just tons of things. And you can look at it and see. You can go to my website and look at all of the stuff. Sign up. Go ahead and do that. Get the membership because it's much, much cheaper. You're going to save 24%. So go there, do that, and get started with that. And that will help you to get moving in the right direction and start throwing some things out. Like you'll go ahead and throw out your toothpaste and all your cleaning supplies really quickly. And it's only $135. So that's the cheapest, best way to get started. It's amazing. So I challenge you to go ahead and do that and get started there. I'm so sorry. I talk so much and so fast it like makes me scratch. So that's what I would suggest. Do that. I've got the link below. Grab that, and then let me know after you've done that, and I'll get you into our Facebook group so you get plenty of education and all the stuff that you need to be able to know exactly how everything works, and you get tons of education that way. So I love y'all. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.